to the Department of Communication Chair, Dr. Bruno Lovrick, to the faculty and students and alumni, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me today. Not only is it a great honor, but a mini homecoming for me. You see, naging part-time lasalista rin ako. When I was young, I studied at the St. Paul University, Manila, but I cross-enrolled here to catch up on some units. You know, when I went to college, I enrolled in St. Paul College, Manila, enrolled in Communication Arts. That was in 1972, and then martial law was declared September. So all the media establishments were closed down. So sabi ko, hi, anong magiging future ko? Wala na. So I shifted to nursing, because my father was a doctor. I shifted to nursing, and I took up 3.5 years of nursing, also in the same university. But after 3 years, things normalized. The media establishments reopened, of course, with a new set of owners. And when I started doing hospital work, that's when I realized, hindi ako pang ospital. Talagang gusto kong maging storyteller. And so I shifted back to CommArts. And to be able to graduate in the 4 years, I had to cross-enroll here in Salle. And I was very lucky then because my teacher was a young man named Clodualdo del Mundo Jr. And even at the time, sikat na siya, a brilliant educator, the famous screenwriter of Lino Broca's Maynila sa Kuko ng Liwanag, and the campus crush ng bayan. I didn't know it then, but one day, I would be the lead actress in a movie he also wrote, entitled Itim, which gave me my first International Acting Award and put me on the map as an actress. He also wrote my 2 other films with the late Mike De Leon, Kakaba-Kaba and Kisap Mata. But actually, Professor Doy's greatest creation, or Dr. Doy's greatest creation, is of course the Communication Arts program of De La Salle University, and his baby turns 50 years old this 2025. Congratulations, it's a great achievement. The 50th anniversary of the Communication Arts program is the perfect occasion for us to reflect on what communication means in this day and age. And I have been tasked to usher in such a timely topic, the power of responsible storytelling. I am sure that all of us know that responsible storytelling is an issue of critical urgency, especially in the post-information attention economy. Well, before anything else, I feel I should make a few caveats kasi baka ako mabash. I come to you today not as a theorist on a pedestal or a highfalutin expert in media. I come to you today as a mother, as a grandmother of 4, an actress, a program host, and an occasional TikToker. Oo, sumasayaw din ako. In fact, I did some TikTok kanina with some of your classmates. Yeah. In other words, I come to you as an ordinary media consumer. So when it comes to the power of responsible storytelling, I just noticed that lately, we sometimes aspire more for the power and less on the responsible. Aminin na natin, lahat tayo at one time or another na-tempt maging cloud chaser. Meaning, we think of using our personal stories in service of clout. Yes, clout is power. Views, likes, shares, comments, followers, engagements, mentions, they are all power. But in order to go viral in the cluttered media environment, we are often forced to do what every storyteller has to do. Increase the drama, the conflict, the sex, the violence, the humiliation, the envy, the anger. In other words, increase the triggers that elicit a reaction from the oversaturated online audience. So sasabihin nyo naman sa akin, Ma'am Charo, what can we do? We have to compete. Well, may point ka naman. What is the use of content that is boring, that no one bothers to see? And to be fair, hindi naman ngayon lang na-invento ang mga yan. Sex, violence, anger, fear, discrimination, humiliation are triggering devices used since time immemorial. From the time of the Greeks to Shakespeare to Final Destination 6. Human beings are by nature attracted to conflict. But wait, there is a big difference. During the time of the Greeks and Shakespeare, societies were generally grouped into small pockets. May oras pa ang tao noon. Time enough to pause, to talk, to reflect, and make judgments on the content they experienced. Generally, the old audience discerned the truth under the framework of the strong institutions of the time: family, school, church, community, government, all helping us in our value judgment. Now, it is different. Media is in a free-for-all. Our society is now global, streaming in real time, with no time for reflection and judgment in this attention deficit environment. Weakened social institutions provide little effective guidance. And with this current AI technology, it is even harder to discern the truth. So, you're canceling or bashing or revenge porn today may be your friend's suicide tomorrow. Your sexual encounter today becomes a red uncle video tomorrow. A climate change denier today means flash floods and landslides tomorrow. Fake news today can be a citywide riot tomorrow. And this really happened in Minneapolis, the UK, and this year in Spain. So what's next? An AI image today becomes a nuclear war tomorrow? We cannot underestimate the power of our stories in this globalized, hyper-sexualized, and volatile world. Moreover, the difficulty of knowing the objective truth leads us to be doubtful, to be distrustful. So paano nga naman? If we cannot trust the story, what will we believe in? So the default is we are seduced to believe a story that comes from the storyteller who somehow mirrors our fears and our frustrations. Pag-isipan natin yun ng konti. Our idols and icons represent our own personal shadows, the self that we hide, the instincts we keep secret. Let's face it, kung kanino tayo unconsciously nakaka-identify, doon tayo kumakapit. Artista man yan, o PBB celebrity, o vlogger, o politician. Kasi sa bilis ng mundo, we are simply too busy to embark on the time-consuming task of discerning truth. It's so much easier to take sides, hindi ba? Basta sinabi ng idol ko, ito na ko. Ayoko nang i-overthink. Ganyan na tayo ngayon. This results to the loss of critical thinking, to blind loyalty to the countless problematic figures today. They are not the root of the problem, they are symptoms of the problem. And the problem is we have been irresponsible with the stories we accept as truth, and with the stories we tell ourselves and others as truth. And this is the moment when I am tempted to say, kasi naman, di ba nga sabi ni Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Media is great power to be responsible with what you read, post, and share. Parang ang daling sabihin, di ba? Ang daling sabihin. But will you obey me? Eh kung si Spider-Man, hindi nyo sinunod, eh ako pa. So perhaps it is worth going back to the basics and let us ask ourselves again why we tell stories at all. Bakit nga ba? Some teachers like to trace the origin of storytelling to the time of the cavemen by the bonfire. When the cavemen hunters bring home a deer or wild boar, the entire tribe builds a big bonfire in the cave and eat the meat happily. Siyempre, may entertainment. Pinagkikwentuhan ang pagkahuli nila ng baboy damo. And in the eyes of the children, the hunters were the superheroes in their prehistoric Netflix. And through the story, the hunters tell their children how they faced danger just to bring home food for the beloved family. In other words, we tell stories for love. Through the stories, the children learn how to hunt for the time when they grow up. And in other words, we tell stories to teach how to live. The hunters will die, but their great stories live on in bonfires, elevated to legend and myth and epic. And through these stories, the future generations learn that there is something bigger than our short lives. That we are not alone, but a part of a bigger tree of life. Our heroism remembered long after our death. In other words, we tell stories for legacy. Love, life, legacy. Whenever we tell good stories, YouTube man yan, o Superman sa IMAX, we connect to a continuum of ancient peoples with the same reasons in their hearts for thousands of years. Love, life, legacy. During my time in ABS-CBN, we did not shy away from the conflict and drama, and that is why we have a strong audience engagement. But we made sure that our motives for storytelling are always love, life, legacy. Take, for example, ABS-CBN's longest running drama anthology, Maalaala Mo Kaya? Na sana, I hope, napanood ng mga magulang ninyo, ng mga lola ninyo at lolo ninyo. At natutuwa nga ako kasi may mga Gen Zs na nakakakilala pa rin sa akin. Hindi dahil nanonood sila ng Batang Quiapo, kundi nanonood sila ng MMK sa YouTube. Kahit na mga 20 years old na yung mga episodes, they still resonate. The stories still resonate. So looking back, MMK stories were ahead of their time. MMK championed the LGBTQ+ advocacy by showing stories of their humanity minus the caricature. Hindi namin ginawang clowns lang ang LGBTQ like how media used to portray them before. MMK shed a light on juvenile criminals tracing the roots of the problem minus the judgment. MMK depicted protagonists with mental health struggles so that we will embrace them instead of making them outcasts. MMK even evolved alongside the empowerment of the Filipino woman. In the late 80s, we used to portray women as martir, mapagtiis, mga iyakin, mga victims. But as the women became empowered, the MMK presented female protagonists who charted their own destinies. Matapang, lumalaban, madiskarte, empowered. And did you know that MMK for many years was used by psychotherapists to treat OFW workers who fell mentally ill in the Middle East? Pinapanood nila ang MMK para maiyak, masoften ang mga puso ng mga machong lalaki, para magbukas ng kanilang mga damdamin. So on MMK, I am very proud to look back and say that we have told stories of love for our society's most unloved, stories that heal our society's pains. Star Cinema has a long tradition of value-laden movies, inviting reflection and inspiration. Mula sa punto de vista ng mabuting stepmother sa madrasta, o sa sakripisyo ng matandang ulyanin sa tanging yaman. Whether it is the painful side of our OFW dreams in Hello, Love, Goodbye, or mortality in the family via the recent Rewind, these are movies that stay with us long after we see them. They show us that despite incredible obstacles, there is always the possibility of transforming into our better selves. They are classic stories of hope and transcendence. So in telling your stories, don't just be sensational or gimmicky. Don't just be viral or trending. The best storytelling is very personal, soul-bearing, authentic, and experiential. Be after the value, not the view. Never forget, our stories are mirrors of ourselves, even mirrors of the selves that we are not conscious of. The deep subconscious that announce to the world who we really are. So be wary. What are you telling the world about yourself, especially in the internet where everything is permanent? Of course, everything is easier said than done. One cannot be a purist in this technologically driven world. These thoughts are just the first steps in a long journey for the responsible storyteller. So I myself frequently ask the question, how do we translate these principles into practical steps? How do we tell the truth from the lie, the truth teller from the liar? I do not have all the answers. We are all navigating this new world order together in real time, and maybe you know more than I do. But that is what this day is about. It is about building our skills of discernment, improving our defenses from the lie, or at least making ourselves not part of the problem. And if you ask me, I always see two paths for us: inward and outward. Inward simply means we start from within ourselves. Let us check our hearts for its motives in communicating whatever we want to communicate. We must be self-aware of our vulnerabilities, our triggers, our biases, the sides we take, and the other sides we are blind to. Know thyself and protect thyself. Huwag pabudo. Let us not be lazy about what we absorb. We are either part of the truth or we are part of the lie. Outwardly, we can harness this new storytelling power for good. That cancel culture that bashes and cancels, that can be the same united community power that calls out the abusers and liars, that heals and reveals. We are powerful together. No liar can survive if the whole world is united in the truth. Like I said earlier, I am simply a mother and a grandmother, and in the end, the world I make will be inherited by my grandchildren. In the end, you too will have your children and grandchildren. Will they grow up in a world of moral chaos, spoon-fed with lies? A world of unclear paths, lost freedoms, and broken human dignity? Or will you use your storytelling power today so that tomorrow, when they talk about you in their bonfires, they will speak of your life with love and your legacy of a better world? Stories are most powerful when they are instruments in saving and healing us, making us whole, connecting us, guiding us to overcome and transcend. Love, life, and legacy. That is the great power of responsible storytelling. Happy anniversary, and thank you very much.